Lemuria Atlantis Archipelago Book. Part 7 is complete. Santo Saba works. Created as a discourse to scientists based on academic studies and studies. In an effort to restore the true history of Indonesia. Swastika. The original shape of the swastika symbol is two vertical and horizontal lines crossing equilateral, perpendicular in the middle plus. As a cultural art creation that is always developing, swastika has also developed so that it becomes various forms. Swastika describes the harmony of the rotation of the universe with all its romance, dynamics and dialectics. This essentially shows the greatness of Sang Hyang Wittiwasa as the creator. The word swastika means safety or welfare. The vertical lines show the harmony of the relationship between humans and their creator, namely Sang Hyang Wittiwasa, while the horizontal lines show the harmony of human relationships with each other, including the relationship between humans and nature. If the relationship between humans and their creators and the relationship between humans and their environment is harmonious, then humans will get safety and prosperity. Safety and well-being are the essence of religious goals. The four lines at the ends of the vertical line and the horizontal line show the direction of rotation of the swastika, which is rotating to the right. So the swastika also describes motion, namely the motion of the universe rotating to the right. The swastika is a symbol that is also used by Hindus. The cross symbol in Hinduism is the basic framework of one of the symbols of Hinduism, namely the swastika. The symbol used by Hindus originating from India is based on the symbol that first existed in the archipelago, namely the Lemuria civilization era then Atlantis, which is still recorded in Balinese culture. This does not mean it is true, as is the general opinion so far that the culture or symbol of the swastika in Bali is from the civilization in India. We can understand from the complete information below about the swastika symbol, which may not be as complete as the description of this symbol outside Bali. The word swastika comes from a word consisting of su asti ka. Su means good, safe, asti means rahayu, while the suffix ka is to form adjectives into nouns. So the swastika is a symbol of safety and well-being. The sacred symbol used as an antidote to avoid all obstacles. In Hindu philosophy, the swastika is one of the most sacred symbols, signs, in the Hindu tradition, is a clear example of a religious symbol that has a complex historical and cultural background so that it is almost impossible to declare it as a creation or belonging to a particular nation or belief. Swastika is a form of geometric prayer to the supreme power to be given wealth, pleasure, happiness and prosperity in all things. Swastika is a symbol of prosperity. Literature underlines that the swastika is a symbol of the goddess of prosperity, Ma Lakshmi, because Dui Lakshmi is Sakti Vishnu where the sign also begs for his grace. The swastika is closely related to the swastiastu, which is one of the symbols for the teachings of Dharma, which is the basis for the power and welfare of Wana Aging macrocosmos, and Wana Elit microcosmos. The shape of this swastika is made in such a way that it resembles a galaxy or a collection of stars on the horizon, which is the basis of the force of this natural rotation. This natural state has been known to our ancestors since time immemorial, and this swastika symbol has existed for thousands of years before Christ. The swastika is believed to be one of the oldest symbols in the world. It has been around 4,000 years ago, based on findings from a tomb in Alajahoyak, Turkey. Various variations of the swastika can be found on archaeological remains, coins, ceramics, weapons, jewelry or altars. Religious, which is spread over a very wide geographical area. The geographical area includes Turkey, Greece, Crete, Cyprus, Italy, Persia, Egypt, Babylon, Mesopotamia, India, Tibet, China, Japan, Scandinavian and Slavic countries, Germany to America. This proves that the swastika symbol does not originate from India as is thought so far, that religion in Bali is Hinduism from India. No, Balinese teachings and culture are native to the archipelago originating from the island of Java. These teachings are not Hindu teachings from India, but Hindu teachings in India who started from the archipelago. Swastika from the sign plus at the ends are given a short horizontal line. In Bali, the popular swastika symbol with the term Topic Dara is used in various traditional rituals. The meaning of the Topic Dara symbol plus Swastika carvings on Sungkul Tianga at Banjar House in South Kalimantan are various models of swastika symbols, evidence that this symbol is the original symbol of the original teachings of the archipelago. In the Ganesha Purana it is said that the swastika is a symbol of Lord Ganesha. This symbol must be made before engaging in a good activity. It has the power to remove all obstacles. Those who ignore will fail. Because it is accustomed to start with the swastika symbol, while in Rigveda it is explained that the swastika is a symbol of the solar god, symbolizing the path of the sun, namely as a symbol of eternal motion, which appears from the apparent movement of the sun from east to west. This motion of the sun is visible, because the earth rotates on its axis from left to right, Pradakshina, then evolves around the sun from west to east, so that the sun is seen moving from east to west. If we look at the swastika as the universal lotus chakra, Bwana Aging, that rotates as in human life, Bwana Alit. The spirit of the universe itself is Hyang Widi, God Almighty, which is symbolized by the swastika. Whereas in his created being, his spirit is the Atman, because in fact Brahman and Atman are identical. Atman is part of the holy spark, only a ray of light from the Brahman sun. In this cycle, we recognize dualisms that we cannot deny, such as Purusa Prakrti, morning evening, day night, life death, present past, male female, and so on. This paired nature, in Bali, is called the concept of Rwa Binata as the power to rotate the universe. The nature of this Rwa Binata continues to rotate and so on, which is commonly called a cosmic drama or cosmic cycle, which is very perfectly depicted by the swastika symbol, in which there are quadrants for the episodes of Chess Yuga. The name on each plot describes the representations of life, namely quadrant I indicating a state where there is an atmosphere of happiness and no sadness, where Dharma was highly respected in the Krita Yuga era. The swastika as a symbol of Balinese religion also has the meaning of a world cycle which is guarded by the manifestation of God's omnipotence in the 8 cardinal directions, Estadala, and centered on Shiva at the midpoint. The 9 manifestations of God's omnipotence were then called Dewata Nawasanga. The swastika is a sacred symbol of Balinese religion, which is the basis for the strength and welfare of Bwana Aging or macrocosmos and Bwana Alit or microcosmos. Swastika as a symbol of salvation, happiness and well-being of the entire universe. Swastika is more meaningful as absorption or release. The direction to the right is more on the release, spread of the energy of safety, happiness and well-being, more macrocosmic and microcosmic in nature, namely Panka Yadnya and Panka Maha Yadnya. Meanwhile, on the back, swastika to the left is a symbol of absorption, more microcosmic, Panka Srata. The meaning of the swastika symbol is chess dharma, namely 4 types of duties that we should devote to dharma for both personal and public interests, safe, happy and prosperous, namely 1. Dharma kriya equals carrying out swadharma diligently and with full responsibility. 2. Dharma santosa equals trying to find inner and outer peace within oneself. 3. Dharma jati equals the task that must be carried out to ensure the welfare and tranquility of the family and also for the public. 4. Dharma putus equals carrying out obligations with full sincerity of sacrifice and a sense of responsibility for the realization of social justice for mankind. The deeper meaning is the 4 purposes of life, namely chess purusartha. Citizen chess. Dharma, kama, artha, moksha. 1. Dharma equals obligation, truth, law, religion, regulation, nature. 2. Artha equals property, material. 3. Kama equals pleasure, lust. 4. Moksha equals eternal freedom. Buddha took a swastika to show Arya's identity. In Buddhism, the swastika is a symbol of good fortune, prosperity, abundance and eternity. It is directly related to Buddha and can be found engraved on Buddha statues on the soles of his feet and chest. It is said that it contains Buddhist thoughts. Buddhist swastika. Swastika to the left because Buddhism emphasizes the absorption of the values of safety, happiness and well-being. And the red color is retained as a dharma value. Of course, the power of swadika color also affects the process of release or absorption. White power. Red power. Yellow color strength. Black power. While the strength of the 5 colors of the axis is manifested in the color of gold metal or rubies. This power is also in accordance with the strength of the gods. A complete and effective swastika is one that has 4 dots in the middle of each curve, plus 2 lines each to the left and right of the swastika that represent Dharma and Adharma, equally. And the axis is the symbol of Shiva. The swastika was adopted by Christianity. The beginning of the symbol is one of the constellations used to mark the sky in the south since the early days of human civilization. Then by the ancients who worshipped the star, the cross was used as a symbol for their gods. When the swastika symbol was finally used as the cross, Christians were reluctant to see the image of a man hanging on the cross. This had never been done by the Christian Church before the 7th century. In fact, the cross with a person hanging on it was entered by the Romans from India centuries before Christian times. What do historians say about the use of the swastika as a cross? Walker said, the early Christians even rejected the cross because it was in pagan. The early Jesus statues do not depict him on the cross, but in the guise of the Good Shepherd, carrying the sheep. Acharya, the Christ Conspiracy. Churchward said, basically the cross is an astronomical sign. A cross with equal arms indicates the times of day and night of equal length, and is an equinox sign. The southern constellation of the ancient swastika relief found in India. Meanwhile, Derek Patridge stated, what the cross with the circle in it shows is actually the sun shrinking or dying in the zodiac, and not people. The Encyclopedia of Funk and Wagnall states that, the sign of the cross was used as a symbol before Christian times. In Italy, where Rome is located, which was one of the earliest centers for the spread of Christianity, there is a cross dating from prehistoric times. Pre-Christian Celtic crosses found on the banks of the Shannon River in Ireland are found with relief images of earth gods and forest spirits. Mosaic swastika excavated at Byzantine Greyjaw in Shaveh Zion, Israel. Swastika symbol carved on a stone window in Lalibela Church, Ethiopia. On the walls of the Christian catacombs in Rome, the swastika symbol appears next to the words Zodiko. Zodiko, which means, life from life. This symbol can also be found on the window openings of the mysterious Lalibela Badu Church in Ethiopia, and in other churches around the world. The Celtic swastika symbol, which is said to be the cross, has existed in Europe since 1200 BC. The swastika symbol on the walls of ancient buildings in Europe. Swastikas in various nations. This symbol, known by various names such as the Tetragrammaton in Greece or the Philpot in England, occupies an important position in the beliefs and cultures of ancient nations, such as the Trojans, Hittites, Celts and Teutonics. This symbol can be found in Hindu, Jaina and Buddhist temples as well as Christian churches. Street. Sophia Church in Kiev, Ukraine, Street. Ambrose Basilica, Milan, and Amiens Cathedral, France. Islamic mosques, in Isfahan, Iran, and the Tainal Mosque, Lebanon, and Ein Gedi's Jewish synagogue in Judea. The oldest swastikas ever found are those found in Mezin, Ukraine, carved into an ivory statue, which is about 12,000 years old, and one of the earliest known cultures to have used the swastika was the Neolithic culture of southern Europe, in what is now Serbia. Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, known as the Vinca culture, are dated back about 8,000 years. The swastika has origins in Europe even further than one might think. Archaeologists found the swastika to be a very ancient symbol, not limited to India. Relief of ancient swastika in Europe. The same emblem was used by the ancient Greeks, Celtic, Anglo-Saxon peoples, and is found in a number of artifacts from the past in Eastern Europe, from the Baltic to the Balkans. If you want to see how deeply rooted the swastika pattern has become in Europe, the best place to see it is in Kiev, Ukraine, where the National Museum of the History of Ukraine exhibits it. One of the treasures on display there is a female bird figure made of mammoth, ancient elephant, tusks found in 1908 in the Paleolithic settlement of Mezin, near the border with Russia. The Samara site is located about 60 kilometers north of modern Baghdad. On the lower left is a plate with 4 women forming the swastika, dating from the Sumerian era, 5th millennium BC. On the lower right is the bowl, 5000 BC. Kachkar with swastika Sanahin, Armenian swastika in ivory artifact 12,000 years old in the Middle East. There are examples such as the golden raidan and the beautiful gold necklace of the swastika found in northern Iran, dating back 5,000 years. The Anasazi people, who built dwellings in caves and niches in canyon walls across the southwestern United States from 1500 BC to 1350 AD, left behind many red-haired Caucasoid mummies with swastika artifacts, and even had a site called Mummy Cave, but any further study of their remains is prohibited. Anasazi is a Navajo word meaning ancient foreigner, ancestral enemy, or ancient enemy. The Navajo Indians began to occupy the area as early as 1700, and also used the swastika emblem. Swastika 5,000-year-old BC in Samara, Iraq. Swastika symbol on golden rhyton and ancient gold necklace on northern Iraq site. Anasazi in America in 1940. 4 tribes of Arizona Indians, Navajo, Papagos, Apache, and Hopi, prohibited the use of their ancient traditional swastika symbol on all their craft designs. The Aztecs and ancient Maya civilization used the swastika symbol on burial mounds, clothing and jewelry. Swastika was used by the Phoenicians as a symbol of the sun and also as a sacred symbol used by priests. In Nordic myth, Odin is depicted crossing the universe as a spinning disk or swastika looking down at all the worlds. In ancient Greece, Pythagoras used the swastika with the name tetractes, and it is a symbol that connects heaven and earth, with the right arm pointing towards the sky and the left arm pointing to earth. Phoenician priest robes in Scotland. Swastikas were known throughout the ancient world. Experts say that in the ancient world, this swastika represented the 4 elements earth, air, water and fire, which were seen as the source of the creation of all things. These elements are seen as eternal, so that everything that is created from them will never disappear, even if they change and change. The 4 elements earth, air, water, and fire in the cultural community of the archipelago are familiar. Almost every native culture of the archipelago proves that the original civilization of the archipelago was the civilization that colored the world. Note the symbol of the Star of David Solomon, which Israel uses as a symbol of the flag that has existed in stone carvings in the archipelago. The swastika is also used as a sign, in the form of an image, on holy food or containers containing religious holy water. The use of this cross was found among the Assyrians, Babylonians, ancient Persians, and even on the American continent. The Encyclopedia of Funk and Wagnalls says, this shape or model is one of the earliest well-known symbols that have been made by man, and one of the most pervasive symbols among primitive peoples. This symbol was found on all continents apart from Australia, and was the symbol of the sun god, from Apollo, Roman, Odin, Viking, to Quetzalcoatl, Aztec. This symbol still survives as a religious symbol in India among Buddhists and Jains, as well as in China and Japan, as well as among Indian tribes in North America who still continue the practice of shamanism and shamanic medicine. Quote. In the Encyclopedia Britannica, Professor Shepherd wrote, the shapes of the cross have been used symbolically, religious or otherwise, long before the Common Era, in almost all parts of the world. 2 forms of the pre-Christian cross have become fashionable in Christianity. The Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol of life, Ankh cross, Tau cross with a circle on it, is adopted and is widely used on Coptic Christian monuments. The swastika cross, Crux Gammata, which consists of 4 gamma letters. Silver swastika coins found in the Greek Corinth. Etruscan pendants with the symbol of the swastika found on ancient sites in Greek capital Italy, are marked on many early Christian gravestones as a disguised symbol. This symbol was widespread before Christian times in Europe, Asia, and America and is generally considered to represent the sun or fire. That's where the meaning of the source of life comes from. Quote. In some places in the world, the tip of the bend on the swastika is given a picture of the sole of the foot which indicates the motion of walking. In other places, some have drawn the tip of the swastika with a bird image depicting the motion of the sun flying through the sky. Or the image of a fish, which suggests the sun diving in the sea beneath the Earth's surface after sinks at night and before it returns the next day. However, the swastika is a symbol of the sun god. Since the sun is only one for the whole world, naturally everywhere in this world, if they worship the sun god then its symbol and belief will be similar. The swastika was, and still is, representing things that are noble and sacred, especially for Hindus, Jainas, Buddhists, followers of the Gallic Roman faith, whose main altar is decorated with lightning, Swastikas and wheels, adherents of ancient Celtic beliefs, swastikas symbolizing goddess P. Bridget, adherents of ancient Slavic beliefs, the swastika symbolizes the sun god Shirag, as well as to the Hopi and Navajo Indians who use the symbol in healing rituals. Athena's robe as well as the body of Apollo, the Greek god and goddess, were also often adorned with this symbol. Equations of the Celtic sun god with the Aztec sun god with the modified Armenian alphabet swastika. Armenian alphabet is not only modified swastika but also there is secret information and sacred, civilized, scientific knowledge, sacerdotal knowledge about stars, constellations, longitude and latitude, galaxy, the model of galaxy creation. It is proved by the fact that 1, with 36 signs letters, can express the numbers from 1 to 10,000, without using any other signs. That is the ideal comparison of system of 6, which was common to the Armenian highland, 60 minutes, 360 degrees, and the system of 10, division of sky into 312. According to the research by Armen Davtyan and according to the research done by Vahan Sarkisyan, as explained above, the Armenian letter is also a modification of the swastika symbol. On the bird's chest is engraved an intricate pattern of combined swastikas. It is the oldest identified swastika symbol in the world. Radiocarbon tests show that it is about 15,000 years old. The bird artifact was found along with a number of phallus objects, which supports the idea that the swastika pattern was used as a symbol of fertility. In 1965, paleontologist Valentina Bibikova discovered that the bird's swastikas closely resemble the natural patterns seen in ivory. Allegedly, the artifact makers were simply imitating what they saw in nature. The single swastika began to appear in the Neolithic Vinca culture in southeastern Europe some 7,000 years ago. But in the Bronze Age, the emblem spread throughout Europe. One of the collections of the Kiev Museum is a clay vessel from 4,000 years ago with a swastika symbol engraved on the top. When the Nazis occupied Kiev in World War II, they believed the pot belonged to their ancestors, the Aryans, and took it to Germany. Then returned to Ukraine after the war. The swastika is also found in ancient Greek culture. Used in tiles and textiles. People at that time used a single swastika motif to decorate pottery and vases. Swastika on a comb artifact with the swastika insignia found at the Danish Nidam Mose. The same emblem is also found on fragile textile fragments from the 12th century AD, believed to be the dress of a Slavic princess, embroidered with gold thread to repel reinforcements. The swastika became a popular embroidery motif in Eastern Europe and Russia until World War II broke out. A Russian writer named Pavel Kudenkov identified 200 variations of motifs throughout the region. Regardless, the Hakenkreuz remains a terrifying symbol. What's more, in 1941, Kiev became the site of one of the worst mass murder of the Nazis. At that time, nearly 34,000 Jews were arrested and killed on the edge of Babi Yar. In Western Europe, the use of the swastika as part of ancient culture can be found in many places, one of which is a stone from the Bronze Age at Ilkley Moor in Yorkshire, England. On the other hand, the swastika also occupies a secular position as merely an architectural decoration motif as well as a symbol of business entities, ranging from beer companies to laundry. The first Westerners to travel to Asia were inspired by the positive side and its connection to ancient culture, and started using it at home. In the early 20th century, there was a trend to use the swastika as a symbol of good luck. Ancient Roman ceramic mosaic found at the site in the area of La Omelda, Spain, helm with the swastika belonging to the Toronto troops in his book, The Swastika, Symbol Beyond Redemption. Graphic design writer Stephen Heller said, Western people at that time enthusiastically used it as an architectural motif, advertisements, even product design. Coca-Cola uses it. Also Carlsberg on the beer bottle. Even with Boy Scouts, scouting organizations like Scouts, the Girls Club of America even named its magazine, Swastika. They even send swastika badges to young readers as gifts. Stephen Heller. As published by the BBC. The swastika emblem was also used by U.S. military units during World War II. It can also be seen on Royal Air Force RAF planes up to 1939. The symbol was used less and less in the 1930s when the Nazis came to power in Germany. The Girls Club magazine uses the swastika symbol. Coca-Cola advertising in the form of a swastika. The swastika on the RAF swastika fighter can also be seen from space. Try to see from Google Map coordinated 32 degrees 40 minutes 34.19 seconds north 117 degrees 9 minutes 27.58 seconds west. It's the swastika-shaped building. This is a controversial building ever made in America. This building is in the shape of the swastika logo. In fact, the swastika was once a symbol of an unbearable cruelty when Hitler used it as a representative of the superiority of the Aryan nation. Millions of Jews died at the hands of soldiers who proudly wore the emblem of the swastika, Sinistrover, tilted to the left about 45 degrees, on his arm. The head of the party branch, Gauleiter, of the NSDAP was able to pin this when he met in the province of Thuringia in 1935 to celebrate the meeting's 10th anniversary. The inscription on the left eagle's wing NSDAP 1925. The NSDAP is Adolf Hitler's party, stands for the swastika coat of arms on American military buildings cast by the swastika on the Microsoft swastika logo in the party symbol Nationalsozialistische Arbeiterpartei Deutschland, and 1925 the year of the first meeting. The inscription on the right wing of Thuringen 1935. Thuringia, is a province in Germany, while 1935 is the 10th meeting year. In the middle of the eagle, a symbol of the German state, as in Indonesia the Garuda, is the swastika, a symbol that Hitler took from the inverted Hindu religion to become the symbol of his party, and the standing lion, that is the flag of Thuringia. Swastika as a symbol of Lord Ganesha, Shiva's elephant-faced son, as the meaning of Dharma chess. Krishna said to Arjuna on the battlefield, when Arjuna had to fight against his own brother, this was what Hitler misapplied, namely, do whatever you have to do as long as it is your duty. You have to do your job well even if it means killing, for good, because doing your job well is a form of devotion to God. Hitler was probably interested in the meaning of the swastika, so he took the swastika emblem and turned it over, so he could kill without guilt. Because he thinks what he is doing is what is right. He took refuge under the swastika whose direction was reversed, which was supposed to mean Dharma chess. Swastika is a plus sign which in Balinese is known as dara, where in mathematics plus means addition or increase, which is positive in this case, especially happiness. The edges of the plus sign have a clockwise length that turns into a curved shape. This gives the impression of the swastika wheel. Then four points are added at the intersection of the four corners. Literature states that the 4 points represent the 4 directional directions. Swastika symbol of technological progress. The 4-point swastika can also be explained in another way. The swastika is the suggestion of a wheel which is actually an original invention that spins the entire spectrum of industrial progress. Besides, the swastika is the best symbol for speed. All present progress and prosperity is a byproduct of the wheel. The first complex machine man-made was a clock or watch. Meaning of the Tapak Dara symbol plus. Tapak Dara, or often called Tampak Dara or Tatarek, is a common symbol used in Bali, where the simple symbol of the swastika is depicted with a plus sign, usually written in raw lime or in Balinese called pamer, limestone, so that the color becomes white. Tapak Dara is a symbol of the unification of the quality of life. Rabinata. This cross symbol in Bali is known as the sign Tapak Dara, plus sign plus, in India it is called Satya. The image of Tapak Dara in Bali is usually used to deny distress or give calm to someone after something surprising has happened. Tapak Dara is usually used when carrying out a religious ceremony and is also attached or written on the house, scratched on some pillars of the house with pamer. Of course, when the Pemlaspa ceremony, the ritual of the dive for a newly built house, is held. The sign of Tapak Dara plus is often used as traditional medicine, Ayurveda, where this sign is etched with pamer, a type of chalk accompanied by a mantra placed on the palms of the patient's hands and on the soles of the patient's feet, especially babies or children. Also attached to a mother who is breastfeeding, is surprised by something, usually a painting of a virgin's tread from charcoal, whiting on her milk and her child, between the forehead means, is to reject harm or something negative. We also find this sign in kekab, rice cooking cover, which also functions to reject negative things. In Kulkul Kentongan Tetampug, fittings for the Butha Yadnya ceremony, Makaru, and other places that are considered important. Therefore this sign is known as Tapak Dara, Tampak Dara. Meaning of the Tapak Dara symbol plus. The Virgin's tread symbolizes the path of the sun. In ancient times the sun was considered the highest god, which in Bali is called Sang Hyang Siwa Raditya. In full. The next development, from the symbol of Tapak Dara to become the swastika, which is the basis for the strength and welfare of Buana Aging, macrocosmos, and Buana Elit microcosmos. The Tapak Dara sign symbolizing the path of the sun is the basic framework for the swastika sign. The swastika is developed from a sign plus, which at the ends are given a short horizontal line. This swastika sign is also a symbol of the way of the sun. Swastika, which has been used as a symbol of Balinese religion, means safe or prosperous. For people in Bali, swastika philosophy has a very deep religious meaning, namely as a symbol of eternal motion, which emerges from the apparent movement of the sun from east to west. This motion of the sun is visible because the earth rotates on its axis from left to right, Pradaksina, then evolves around the sun from west to east, so that the sun is seen moving from east to west. The swastika as a symbol of Balinese religion also has the meaning of a world cycle which is guarded by the manifestation of God's omnipotence in the 8 cardinal directions, Estadala, and centered on Shiva at the midpoint. The 9 manifestations of God's omnipotence were then called Dewata Nawasanga. The swastika also symbolizes science, which is always dynamic and experiencing renewal. Therefore the swastika symbol also means restoring balance, creating stability both within oneself and in the surrounding environment. Swastika, this cross line, in Bali is called Tapak Dara, whose mythology is contained in the Lontar Katar Bhumi. It is called the appearance of a pigeon because the pigeon's feet or dove exactly resemble the shape of the cross. In ancient times, the cross line on the Virgin's palm was used as an antidote to calamities. Tatarek Tapak Dara shaped straight. The development of Tapak Dara in Bali, the straight line is in the form of. The material used is, like, thick white chalk. The initial form is a point that moves freely in the form of a straight line horizontally, upright or across. Symbol of an unhindered progress toward a definite end. The ultimate goal for sure is pralaya. Implicit in the Vishnu Purana literature, there are 2 types of pralayas, namely Athayatika pralaya and Naimatika pralaya. Athayatika pralaya, symbolized by the white color, is the destruction of 3 types of human suffering, namely 1. Adhyatmika, ignorance. 2. Adidaivaka, physical suffering in the form of heat or cold, and 3. Adibhautika, mental suffering. Athayatika pralaya was awarded by Ida Sanghyang Widi in an effort to guide and save mankind to avoid these sufferings. Naimatika pralaya is the beginning of a new life, where people who are always devoted to him will be saved by the Avatara. The Avatara who will come as the 10th one, known as Kalki Avatara, dressed all in white and riding a white horse. In the Braspati and Veda Parikrama scriptures, it is stated that there are 8 omnipotents Ida Sanghyang Widiwasa who is called Asta Aishwarya, namely 1. Anima equals very subtle. 2. Lagima equals very light. 3. Mahima equals very large. 4. Prapti equals can reach all places. 5. Isatva equals above all. 6. Prakamya equals absolute will. 7. Vasatva equals very powerful. 8. Kamavasayadva equals natural, immutable. Asta Aishwarya that can be witnessed every day, for example, the rising and setting of the sun, the full moon Tilam, the eclipse of the sun, moon, changes in the position of the stars, the wind that blows, the sea waves, human, animal, plant life. Asta Aishwarya who comes from time to time, for example, earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons. Asta Aishwarya also means a warning to mankind about their sins that must be balanced with awareness, dharma, and the practice of religious teachings in everyday life. Asta Aishwarya can sometimes be a punishment for mankind for not being devoted to him. The Tapak Dara symbol has existed since ancient times, used in religious life in the form of Balinese culture. This symbol is used regularly and also incidentally. In every Sasi Kanam there is generally an epidemic called dry, sasab and melana. Drying is a plague that afflicts humans. Sasab is a plague that afflicts livestock, while languishing is a plague that afflicts plants. This is the original teaching of the original Dharmic archipelago that is perfectly preserved in Bali, which in the past was brought by the Saka or Arya to 3/4 of the earth and grew in India, which underlies the birth of Buddhist, Hindu, Jaina and even Zoroastrian teachings. Before the outbreak, people in Bali generally wore the Topic Dara symbol at the entrance to their respective homes. In addition to the symbol of Topic Dara, it is also accompanied by prickly pandan leaves called pandan wong, accompanied by tri-dhatu thread, namely red, black and white threads wrapped together. The Topic Dara symbol is also used in traditional medicine. The sign of Topic Dara from whiting is often scratched by Balian on the part of the body that has felt pain in medicine as a means of traditional medicine. Traditional symbols actually carry universal meanings. It is called Topic Dara because its shape resembles the footprint of a pigeon or a dove. This symbolizes the swastika symbol in a distinctive form of culture in Bali. In Balinese teaching, nature and its contents process in 3 stages, namely Srsti, swastika and pralaya. The natural process is called Srsti, meaning that a new natural state is in the process of being created. The swastika process means that natural processes are in a stable state, all in balance. The pralaya process is the natural process of returning the pralina to its source, namely the creator. So Topic Dara is a symbol of balance. This teaching is called Tri-Hita Karana, Tri equals 3, Hita equals prosperous, Karana equals cause. In essence, Tri-Hita Karana means that the 3 causes of welfare are rooted in the harmonious relationship between 1. Man with God Parayangan. 2. Humans and their natural environment Palamahan. 3. Humans with each other Pawangan. Tri-Para Artha. 1. Asi, meaning we love and cherish everything in this world that is in the middle and lower realms. 2. Punya, means that we carry out all kinds of acts of service to fellow humans and everything in this world and also with God on the basis of the first point, Asi, for example, such as we carry out our obligations as students, namely to study well and carry out our brahmachari level properly, also carry out our obligations as parents, husband, wife, employees, business owners, officials properly and based on Dharma and Asi. Besides that, we also carry out our obligation as bhakta to always be devoted with God. 3. Bhakti, which means we always strengthen our shraddha and devotion with ita sang hyang widiwasa based on compassion and actions of punya. So the 3 elements of the Tri-Para Artha are interrelated with each other, in order to create harmony in life. These 3 ways of religion must be carried out in a balanced manner. Thus the symbol of Topic Dara means vertically, upward as a symbol of devotion to God, below the form of compassion for all living beings. Meanwhile, a horizontal cross means a form of mutual dedication to others. The emergence of Topic Dara in Bali seems to remind the Balinese to reinforce the meaning of this symbol in life. The use of the Topic Dara symbol with pandan wong and tri-dhatu thread is fading in Bali. Their symbolic use may fade a little, but what cannot be faded is to understand these values in everyday behavior. The use of lime in Balinese tradition also has universal value. If the Balinese people melispas the house, for example, the supporting pillars of the roof frame called tuge are smeared with whiting, charcoal and red chicken blood. This is the Uriper's symbol. So the rubbing of whiting is also meaningful to motivate the people to be more dynamic in life towards a better and right one. The use of pandan wong in Balinese mythology is a symbol of weapon to defeat violent qualities. Pandan is a symbol of weapon and wong means human. So what is best used to defeat negative traits in society are human values, not giant values of violence. The tri-dhatu thread symbol of the combination of red, black and white threads that accompanies pandan wong also has a universal meaning. The tri-dhatu thread symbolizes the balanced life process of creating, maintaining and eliminating anything that should be created, maintained and eliminated. It seems that this traditional understanding is what the Balinese people use in responding to the appearance of the Topic Dara mark on various shrines and places of worship in Bali. The incident should be faced as a fact that is happening and cannot be denied. Accept it as a symptom of the times. Some examples of point 2 punya have been described, but ritualistically we can listen to examples of its application, including 1. The relationship between man and his god Parayangan Bhakta, which is manifested by Dewa Yajna. 2. Human relations with the natural environment Palamahanasi, manifested by Buddha Yajna. 3. The relationship between humans and each other Pawangan Punya, is manifested by Pitra, Rishi, Yajna human. God gave us the task of balancing the three elements. If there is an imbalance between the lower, middle or upper realms, there will be several impacts which are usually real. We can see it directly like this. Great placement. The application of the swastika concept in the concept of residential space in Bali can be seen in the form of a crossroad or a great placement Kataspatha in the center of the settlement. The concept of the great placement is an expression of the cross-space pattern of the road axis, as a cross between the Earth's axis and the Sun's axis, and can be analogous to plus, or topic dara, which is the basic framework for the swastika sign. Then, in each corner of Pempadan Aging, a parcel of land, Koralpur, is provided, which functions as a building-free green open space. The ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro, 2500 BC, in India also has a city planning concept centered at the crossroads of the east-west and north-south road axes. This pattern is called a Chasmuka, which is the same as the concept of the Pempadan Aging in Bali. The grid patterns in the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro are regular patterns and are associated with sacred diagrams full of symbolic meaning. Apart from the facade pattern, the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro also has a Karvata circle pattern. The town of Mohenjo-Daro has demonstrated an organized city planning by employing a rudimentary grid pattern, like a chessboard. Because the concept of the Pempadan Aging settlement in Bali is identical to the crossing of the Earth's axis with the Sun's axis, which is analogous to the center of the universe, cosmos, according to Balinese belief, rituals can be carried out at the center of Pempadan Aging to maintain the balance of the cosmos. The center point of the great placement can also be likened to the coordinate center of the cosmos, which has a zero or zero value pralina, which means supremely perfect. That is why, it is said, at the center of the great placement, negative things will become neutral. In the space concept, zero is not empty. Empty is like a coconut, empty but contains contents, Nyuh Puying Sugi. Or in an architectural concept, such as, Manik Ryong Sikapu. Fill in container, it's the main thing inside the container, even if it's not visible. This concept of space has the same meaning of, being and not, as the concept of God. Thus, the empty value also means very perfect. Cleansing of nature, since Pempadan Aging is identical with the intersection of the Earth's axis with the Sun's axis, which is analogous to the center of rotation of the universe, cosmos, according to Balinese belief, rituals can be performed to maintain the balance of the cosmos. One of the series of ceremonies leading up to the Nippi Day is the Tawur Kesinga ceremony, which is held at Pempadan Aging. This ceremony is classified as a Buddha Yajna ceremony, which is a ritual sacrifice for beings that are lower in rank than humans. This is done so that these creatures do not interfere with the harmony of life, do not cause calamities, and do not interfere with the preservation of nature, so that life becomes harmonious and balanced. This ceremony is held the day before Nippi, carried out in stages from the state, region or village, banjar and household levels. For Easterners, especially Balinese people, March is still celebrated as the implementation of the new year. March is an important and holy month, because in this month the sun is right at the equator and starts moving to the northern hemisphere, Uttarayana, until June 22 at 23.5 degrees latitude. During this period of the movement of the sun to the northern hemisphere, according to Balinese beliefs, it is a good day for the implementation of various ceremonies of worship and purification. Furthermore, the sun will return to the equator in September and move again to the southern hemisphere, Dakshinayana, until December 22 at 22.5 degrees latitude. When the sun returns to the equator, Balinese people celebrate Nippi Day as New Year. People in Bali start their new year by not doing various activities because life must start from zero. The day before, people in Bali held a series of ceremonies to clean the universe, Memory Sudagumi, in residential centers to their homes. This is done so that life on earth becomes harmonious and balanced, free from evil, free from calamities and chaos, so that mankind will prosper. Tadarek topic Dara Puta can be interpreted as Asta Aisvarya, where Ida Sanghyang Widi Wasa always loves his people by providing guidance towards good positive things. Thus, at a glance, the meaning of the topic Dara plus symbol where in terms of symbolic form, the topic Dara seems to be very local. However, behind this symbol there is a universal meaning which explains that Balinese culture is a culture that still keeps the noble records of the early ancestors of humans and the first civilizations on Earth, namely the teachings of Lemuria and Atlantis. Done. Santo Saba works.